let us know yoga better. These days, there is hardly anyone who does not know what yoga is. Almost everyone takes it for granted that yoga is very beneficial. Many yoga gurus have written books on yoga, and some of these are quite popular. But if you see closely, many of these books are about certain forms of yoga that the guru is propagating. Also, most of these books give an authoritarian view of yoga. Yoga is projected as if it is a belief system much like religion or any other faith based practice. For example, when these books talk about body postures or breathing exercises, they no doubt claim the health benefits of these, but they rarely explain in a logical way how these practices actually achieve what is claimed. Often, very little empirical evidence is provided in support of their claims. Some gurus submerge their readers with hyperbole, throwing lot of mutually contradicting concepts and views without getting into actual details. They talk in terms of cosmic energy, super consciousness, super mundane awareness, and so on. What these really are is rarely explained or defined. Using some modern medical jargons or vague analogies to theories in quantum physics, these gurus try to give a scientific face to their mystic theories. Such an approach to yoga has two problems. Firstly, without a clear understanding of the underlying mechanisms behind yoga, it is difficult to reap its full potential. Secondly, a poorly understood system often gets distorted and diluted over a period of time. What we need is a clearly defined system with sound concepts. A system that can be put to test in an objective fashion to the extent possible. A system that can produce predictable results that can be relied upon. Does yoga that we see around meet these criteria? Most people think that yoga is some body oriented practice, a set of body postures, or some kinds of breathing exercises, and so on. The aim of these people is often to keep themselves fit and healthy. Health and fitness are definitely important, but yoga is not just that. Yoga has wide range of utility starting from mundane health enhancement to stress reduction to developing mental concentration to enhancing mental capabilities to having a taste of inexplicable bliss to ultimate realization and finally to establish a more peaceful and livable world. But some of these are not really the goal of yoga, but are only byproducts that one can reach by sincere practice of yoga, as we will see later on. Yoga has a long history of thousands of years. Over a period of time, yoga has undergone various changes and taken many new forms. What is projected as yoga today is only the tip of the iceberg. What then really is yoga? The widely accepted originator of yoga, namely Patanjali, defines yoga is restraining the activities of the mind. Yoga Sutta 1.2 that means yoga is about making the mind completely calm. That does not mean that having a calm mind is the goal of yoga. Calming of the mind is only a means, a method to attain something that is beyond mind. What that is, we will be seeing down the line. As it is clear from this very second statement in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, yoga is mostly a mind-oriented system that has very little of what we see today as yoga. Let us get a bit more into this original yoga as propounded by Patanjali. Patanjali's yoga is described in his work Yoga Sutra, a collection of 195 sutras. A sutra is a concise expression of ideas, often conveyed in as few words as possible. These sutras are spread across four chapters, namely Samadhi Pada, Sadhana Pada, Vibhuti Pada, and Kaivalya Pada. The demarcation between these chapters is not very clear cut. The discussions often overflow across boundaries of chapters. It appears as if someone has partitioned what originally was a single continuous text into various chapters. The first two chapters are the core of Yoga Sutra. They deal with the basic concepts and the methodology. I normally focus on these two chapters since the rest of the chapters appear to be later additions. Most people believe that This yoga of Patanjali was propounded sometime during 200 BC. There are some who argue that it was composed much later, sometime during 400-600 AD. But for reasons that I discuss later, I hold the view that 200 BC or earlier was the time of Patanjali. I'm definitely not very picky about these dates, but sometimes dates help in understanding how the ideas flowed from one stage of development to another. This is also important in order to understand how yoga of today became what it is, the factors that influence such a change, and so on. The main theme of Patanjali Yoga was modulating the mind to nudge it to a completely tranquil state. The purpose was to attain the ultimate realization about our individual existence. Meditation is projected as the means to reach that goal. Though this yoga does talk very briefly about body postures and breathing exercises, they are meant more as preparatory to meditation and not serving any independent goal. Health enhancement was never a goal. Patanjali's yoga has 8 steps and it is often referred to as Ashtanga Yoga. Very briefly, these steps are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. To listen to the complete book, please check https://linear.com/mylibrary1234